In the deep forests of prehistory, a small band of Homo sapiens searches for survival.
Something's out there.
Their lives depend on what the land provides: wild berries, roots, and fleeting moments of safety. But in this unforgiving world, danger is never far.
Look out.
From the shadows, a cave bear emerges, one of the most feared beasts of the Ice Age. With a roar that shakes the silence, it charges. The group scatters in terror, dropping their harvest. Prehistoric survival is not just about finding food, it is about escaping the jaws of ancient predators. Claws tear the earth as the bear gives chase. Dust rises, hearts race. The fragile line between life and death has never been clearer. Scrambling up a towering tree, the sapiens cling to the branches. Below, the massive creature growls, frustrated, before lumbering away. As dusk falls, they climb down, shaken but alive. For early humans, every sunset carried a silent victory, survival, at least, for one more day. Night falls, and the Homo sapiens retreat to their shelter, gathering around the flickering fire. In these moments, food is precious: wild fruits and nuts shared carefully, each bite a reminder of survival. Yet, even in the smallest acts, history begins to change. The discarded seeds, scattered on the ground, lie hidden in the soil. Rain nourishes them, sunlight warms them, and time quietly works its mystery. Seasons later, green shoots appear where none had been before. To prehistoric eyes, this is no accident, but revelation.
Look, berries.
One woman notices a familiar fruit sprouting near the
We
cave,
found food.
and excitement ripples through the group. Hands reach for the ripe berries, and for the first time, an idea stirs. What if food could be encouraged to grow, not just gathered? In this fleeting spark, a door opens. No longer only hunters and gatherers, these sapiens begin to imagine control over nature itself. They collect seeds deliberately, holding them as something more than scraps, holding them as the promise of a different future. With curiosity turning into action, Homo sapiens begin their first experiments. They press seeds into the soil with bare hands, learning by trial, guided only by instinct and observation. Simple gourds carry water, poured gently over the ground. In the shifting earth, a miracle unfolds: tiny sprouts pushing upward, fragile but full of promise. Children watch with wonder, pointing at the green shoots. For the first time in prehistory,
look.
food is no longer just found, but nurtured, yet progress is never certain. Different seeds are tried. Some flourish, others wither, teaching painful lessons in survival. Around the fire, voices rise in debate: should they persist, or return to the old ways of hunting and gathering? Doubt shadows their faces, but resilience defines these early humans. They choose to try again. Each handful of seeds placed into the soil is more than a gesture of hope. It is the beginning of humankind's partnership with the land, a step that will transform their destiny forever. Around 10,000 years ago, small fields of green rose from the soil, symbols of hope for Homo sapiens in the prehistoric world. For the first time, survival was tied not only to the hunt but also to the harvest. Yet nature tested them relentlessly. Swarms of locusts descended, devouring fragile crops in moments. The people fought back with fire and smoke, their shouts echoing through the fields. Then came the floods. Heavy rains turned streams into torrents, sweeping away seedlings and dreams alike. In this struggle, the fragility of early agriculture became painfully clear. But danger did not only come from the skies. At night, wild boars crept into the clearings, tearing at the soil with ruthless hunger. The Homo sapiens stood together, gripping wooden spears and stone tools, driving the beasts away in desperate combat. Each challenge demanded resilience, forcing them to defend not just their food, but the very idea of cultivation itself. This battle between human ingenuity and the wild would shape the dawn of agriculture. To protect their fragile crops, Homo sapiens built simple wooden fences, a first step toward organized community life. Women carried water to nourish seedlings, while men stood guard, ever alert to threats. Children played between rows of tender shoots, unaware of the immense struggle their elders endured. The late Ice Age still cast its shadow. Shifting climates brought unpredictable rains and sudden droughts, while herds of large animals roamed nearby, competing for the same fertile lands. Against this ecological pressure, every harvest was uncertain. Survival demanded new solutions. The people shaped sharper stone tools, turning soil with greater efficiency. They began to experiment with animals, capturing young goats not as prey, but as companions and a source of sustenance. Even waste was repurposed, as they discovered that animal dung could enrich the soil. And then, a moment of triumph, golden heads of barley swayed in the wind. The first true harvest brought cries of joy. In these fields, the seeds of agriculture and of civilization had taken root. Not every plant thrived. Some crops, like tubers and beans, flourished under careful tending. Others withered, discarded as failed experiments. Through trial and error, Homo sapiens learned which species could sustain them. They dried and pounded grains, crafting the first primitive breads on heated stones. The taste of cooked grain was more than nourishment, it was discovery, a spark of innovation. Yet nature remained unpredictable. The climate at the close of the Ice Age was unstable, seasons shifted abruptly. Rainfall came and vanished without warning. Each harvest was vulnerable to forces beyond human control. And danger was never far. In the distance, predators watched. Wolves, sensing opportunity, targeted the goats the people had begun to tame. One night, they struck, scattering the herd in chaos. Shouts filled the dark, stones flew, fires roared, and together the sapiens drove the hunters back. This nightly battle with beasts was as much a part of survival as farming itself. Agriculture was not only labor, it was defense. Over generations, the fields expanded, and simple shelters grew into clustered settlements. What began as survival slowly transformed into community. Homo sapiens were no longer only hunters, they had become farmers, shaping the land itself. But progress carried a cost, backs bent from endless labor, hands calloused from tilling. The freedom of foraging gave way to the discipline of routine. For the first time in prehistory, humans confronted the weight of agricultural life. Illness spread more easily among crowded groups. Around the fire, questions surfaced. Was farming worth the toll and risk? Some longed for the simplicity of gathering wild foods. Debate turned to decision. Their leader rose, holding a fistful of seeds toward the firelight, eyes firm with resolve. The seed symbolized both survival and destiny. And one by one, the group nodded. In that moment, determination bound them together. Farming was no longer an experiment, it was a commitment. A leap into an uncertain, but transformative, future for humankind. In time, fields stretched across valleys, golden waves swaying beneath the sun. Each harvest bound Homo sapiens closer to the land, marking a turning point in prehistory. From fragile experiments for resilience, and from resilience, civilization itself. Children laughed among the crops as the seeds of survival became the roots of destiny. At sunset, they carried their future toward the horizon, the dawn of human history. If you found this journey inspiring, like, share, comment, and subscribe to explore more untold origins of humankind.